Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast. We are so glad to be back. We apologize that we had some technical delays going on with our podcast, but we're finally back, and we're excited to do some long-awaited reviews for you guys. So, for today's episode, we just watched the new Resident Evil Netflix series. Akram and I both have some thoughts on it. So, Akram, take us away. What did you think of it, being a Resident Evil fan yourself?
Well, first of all, again, it's great to be back. Thank you guys for your support as well. I really appreciate that, especially on socials and whatnot. So thank you again. I hope that we don't have shitty quality this time around, and I hope that things are smooth sailing from here on out. As for Resident Evil, I kind of can understand the hate that a lot of people were having. I had this... I was speaking to Dylan actually earlier on, and I was saying, well, what if you unbrand Resident Evil? What if you just took off the Umbrella logo and also took off the Resident Evil like little branding behind it? And I think that this show will probably be akin to Z Nation. I think that if you gave it a chance, it'll probably be just like Z Nation, and it pretty has like a huge fan following as well. But the fact that it is Resident Evil, I think there's a lot of confusing things going on, especially for fans, and I could understand why everyone was kind of mad about it. But anyways, Dylan, tell us your thoughts.
Well, I've never been like a huge Resident Evil fan. I mean, most of the lore I'm pretty like not familiar with. I know like a few things from some of the games. I mean, I grew up watching the movies and they were just okay. But for this series, it was like it definitely felt like a departure from Resident Evil. I agree with what you said. Like if this didn't have the branding, I feel like this would be like a completely different show. Overall, I thought the cast was all right. Fucking Lance Reddick, man, as Wesker, that was a huge like curveball for me. But I think he actually like did a really like awesome job in this role. Is it close to the Wesker that we know from the games? There is like a brief scene where he actually does resemble the Albert Wesker from the Resident Evil franchise. But this Wesker that we see is a big departure, I would say. But I love this character a lot. And Jade and Billy, I thought I wasn't like, I don't know, I wasn't like a huge like into I wasn't really invested in their character. I think maybe I was more invested into their more adult selves, because this story does like run two tangent storylines. It's kind of like set in like when they're younger, and it's kind of like this more like suburban like town kind of feel, and then it runs tangent with like this apocalypse that we kind of like know more familiar with the Resident Evil franchise. But tell me what character stood out to you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Lance Reddick. I'm wearing actually a Destiny shirt. Every time I hear his voice, I just think of Zavala. Yes, I came to represent. So I love Lance Reddick, and I think what really surprised me was the little plot twist that they had. And it's great too, because Lance Reddick, he could showcase his range. And I think he did really well as like the OG Wesker, as he's called. When we did see that, it was really interesting. A lot of people are thinking like and I'm also confused too, because like the whole thing about Wesker being white, like it means something in the game. So when they race swapped him, I felt like it was a little weird. Like, is this within the continuity? I was a little puzzled by that, but I think that Lance Reddick, I'm all for him being Wesker. I loved his portrayal. And again, there's like 3 versions of him, which we'll discuss a little bit later on. Also, I think just the girls in general, was it a little bit Riverdale-y, sort of? Was it a little bit like CW,
of like Euphoria
shows?
or something like that? Like
something, yeah, with a little like zombie twist. I mean, I think this show has a lot of like other shows encapsulated inside as well. Like it reminded me kind of like sci-fi original shows like Helix, and then again like Z Nation. When it came down to Resident Evil like IP and whatnot, and trying to like mix in with the canon, I just feel like Resident Evil is a sandbox for the show, and they're just playing inside of it. I think that was it respectful towards the property? No. But I feel like at the same time too, they were trying to do something new and different, and I could appreciate that. I just think they did it the wrong way. I think that they could have approached it a different way. And sometimes it's a little jaunting, the back and forth with the flashbacks and then in present flashbacks, because it took away from certain moments. and certain reveals. But I want to know your thoughts on actually the past moments, because I think actually they were more significant than the present moments. Well, expect but the end
The
was
first
more
half of the show,
significant.
I kind of was kind of like annoyed with the characters in the beginning, and like I don't know, it felt like two different shows. Kind of, it was like what like one was like this like kind of like suburban like mystery thriller, but it's also running in tangent with like I said, like this horror genre. So it was kind of weird having those two like narratives clash in a way. But as I got like towards the end of the show, it kind of picked up a little bit, and I think I was actually more invested in the characters. Because at first they're kind of just like these two like whiny teenagers, and they're just kind of like figuring out. It felt like a fucking like a Euphoria show, or like you said, like a CW, like I don't know, like high school drama or something. But then we like kind of like see like, and I was kind of confused because like I don't think these characters. I don't know if Wesker ever had like kids in the game. I doubt it, but because these are these like original characters like Jade and Jade.
These are original characters. Yeah, it's strange. They really went out of the box with this
'Cause
show.
I feel like they were kind of, like, modeled almost after like, I feel like Jade's character kinda feels like Shiva Alomar from Resident Evil 5 in a way. Uh, but I
Mm.
think, like, watching them actually, like, transform from, like, these very, like, immature characters, and then they realize, like, what's the stakes, but at times, it kinda got annoying, like, especially, like, Billy's character, like, I know I didn't vibe with her character at all, like, really, I think I like Jade's character more. I don't know if you feel
I
differently.
love No, I love well, I love the younger Billy a lot more. I feel like we didn't spend more time with the older Billy. And also I kind of like the little clash of ideologies as well. And I think that if you pay close attention, there's like deep narrative threads or like deep nuances to like both characters. And I appreciated that, especially with like Billy, she was kind of like emo-y, whereas Jade was more outgoing. And Billy didn't really care about the past. Like there was a moment where like they wanted to like deep dive into the past, like figure out like where are they really from, what's the lies going on. And Billy kind of, she's always like very shy. She wants to get away from like people. But now I understand that because in the future she basically wants to destroy the past, whereas Jade wants to keep uncovering the truth. I mean, she's a scientist after all. She constantly wants to understand more about the T virus and like life now. So I appreciated that. I think what bored me, honestly, yeah, the past stuff bored me, but whenever they included Lance Reddick, like Wesker, that's when I was like really invested. Like, oh, I want to know what's going
Mhm.
on in Umbrella. And the whole thing, like, say what you will, I mean, I'm not like the hugest like super fan of Resident Evil. I always found like some things are silly. Like it's an evil corporation, but it's like kind of like a cartoony evil corporation. Like, and here it's like even more so. Like, oh, we don't give a damn if like there's like ravenous zombies. We're just gonna like stop depression. And you could kind of think of like Evelyn, like perhaps Evelyn, the CEO of Umbrella, maybe she's like super depressed or something. But deep down, she has a different ideology. She's very selfish. Was she a compelling villain? I don't think so whatsoever. I think that she came off kind of like tropey a lot of times, a little bit annoying.
Yeah, she kind of like just
Um,
like felt like this, I don't know, like this suburban mom running a fucking like multimillionaire like enterprise. Like when I look at this umbrella and I think of like those kind of like tropey like evil corporation kind of villains. I was thinking of Vought from the
mm,
boys actually. I was thinking of like how they kind of like align because they're trying to like sell like these like pharmaceuticals that like are very like experimental and like dangerous, but like I don't know, I feel like the boys does it better in my opinion than like this show because it kind of feels like I don't know, like she kept pushing for this joy drug, right? Because she kept I wanted to know like what was her deeper like reasons for
yeah.
doing all this because she had a family, like she basically had everything. She had like a family, she was the head of a company, and like she had a son. So I was like, why is she trying so hard to get this drug? I was like, is she like? She was like, she was like, oh, I'm trying to change the world, right? But why? It's like you have everything, basically.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand like why,
Yeah.
like what's her intentions.
Well, it didn't make sense because they're using a virus at the end of the. I mean, it's a damn virus they're trying to use to cure depression. I don't understand that either. Like, like it doesn't make sense. I obviously they're doing like different things too. Like maybe they're trying to
And
weaponize
she even
certain
drugged
like
the
things.
her wife also.
Yeah, because she wanted to leave, and she didn't want that, and she really like loved her son, but like that ending really fucking shocked me too.
Yeah, I
I
was
was
like,
like,
"Oh shit."
damn,
I was like,
this
"Damn."
motherfucker
Well, also
cold.
even that character, like the Simon character, so so Simon, he's the friend of Jade, and he's basically like
Right.
helping her in the beginning. He's like, he's like this cool, like nerdy, popular kid, but like, I had to suspend my disbelief. I was like, this motherfucker's like a high school student, like getting past like
Mm.
fucking military grade, like
Bruno.
exactly like Bruno from Miss Marvel. Was like he's getting past like military grade, like firewalls and shit. Like what the fuck? I
Right.
was like, I had to suspend my disbelief, but like,
Sus.
yeah, that I didn't expect that she was gonna kill him though, because I was like, why not just have like Wesker like help him or something?
Well, I think in like on paper it'll sound better, but like seeing it looks stupid because I think like it means something. I think everybody like in that little city or town, I think they all like contribute to the greater good of Umbrella, and I think that they're all like extremely gifted. I wouldn't expect them to get some random person to like live there and like be completely walled off from like danger and safe. So I kind of get like, oh, well, everyone is like skilled somehow, I guess. So I could understand that, but like in practice, it looks really dumb
It,
and it kind of like
it
is
was
too
a shock and
cliche.
awe moment, but I was like, I feel like because there were other characters too, like the cat lady, where she kind of like she kept her husband alive
Oh yeah,
because she
oh
really was
yeah.
really in love with her husband. She didn't want to kill him, so I feel like Evelyn would have been like that character was like she would just like try to like find a cure for it. Like I like real think about it. She did not hesitate to pull that gun out. As soon as he said like, "Oh yeah," yeah, then he was like, "Bam!" It's like no remorse or
She
nothing.
killed
Yeah,
him. Yeah, she killed
it's
Simon.
like
Yeah,
don't you think like
right,
somebody who would be like so family oriented will like try to like find like a cure for their son?
right. They could have approached it differently. That's why I keep comparing it to Z Nation because Z Nation was sometimes like comedic and it was really random. And all of a sudden you have a spinoff like Black Summer that's like my favorite zombie show and it's so horrifying and so realistic. And like yeah, I would have approached the character differently. I would have made her intentions like her wife, like trying to really cure this disease because the wife's suicidal and she can't do anything else, and she has everything. She has this beautiful family, a lot of money, but her wife is still suffering from depression. So if they went down that route, I could understand that. And if she wasn't so cold, then okay. And if the T virus like worked faster, like to so you could become a zombie, okay, that's a different story. Then I kind of see like, oh, then the kid's already a zombie, let me
Hmm.
shoot him in the head. That would make more sense. But the fact that she came off like this person that I hate from the
Right.
beginning, I can't really vibe with her. So then I look at Albert, and then not the OG Albert, but I just look at the father of two girls, and I'm thinking, well, I like him a lot. He has mysterious intentions, whatnot. Does he really love his children? It appears so, but at the same time, too, like he's still the clone of Albert Wesker, and they keep
Mm.
mentioning
I just found
self-preservation
that
and stuff. So that
I
makes
just found that so
sense.
ironic because this was like the most humanized version of Wesker we've ever seen in like any Resident Evil property. Because like he's so like a cold bastard in like all the other like games and movies and shit.
Mm,
But like here he's like a loving father. Like he actually like cares about his daughter. Like yeah, you could say his
yeah.
intentions are misguided at times, but like he at the core, he really like I really feel like he loves his daughters and he'd do anything to protect because he does. He makes the ultimate sacrifice at the end, and he even
Yeah.
saves his twin clone brother too.
Right, right, Bert. I really like
And
Bert too. Bert was so funny. I mean, I think for me, like, I actually was I wouldn't say I'm hooked, but I really did enjoy the show. Like the first episode, it was something different because I noticed right off the bat that it didn't feel like Resident Evil. And it's not that I have anything against Resident Evil. I just have like this expectation like for it to fail each time. And you could say this show did fail like Resident Evil, but as a standalone zombie show, I liked it a lot. And so when I seen that beginning, it was really different. Like I honestly could see this as like a different type of branding, like call it
mhm,
whatever. And I think I'd like it a lot. I'm not really like hooked on like Resident Evil like things, and the movies sucked anyway. Like back then, the movies like I never liked the movies. They weren't resembling at all the games. They just like threw in certain things just to throw it in to say, oh, we're Resident Evil. And then Welcome to Raccoon City was like Welcome to Raccoon City gave me like a nosebleed. It was like really weird. I felt like really weird watching
Mm.
that. But they did have Wesker there, played by the actor who plays Lucas in Umbrella Academy. And you could kind of like try to compare both, and they're really different.
Well, they've also made like animated
But I like
like series too.
so the animated are always the
Yeah.
best, yeah, because they're really like a part of the canon. And they always do things better. Like some like are like hit and miss, but for the most part they fill in the gaps. So I thought honestly if they really wanted to make this show as like canon as possible, I think they should have just hired actors that portrayed the actual characters from Resident Evil and make this a live action prequel, spin-off, or just sequel to something or whatever. And I think that would have been the route to take. But they didn't do that. Like again, they threw in kind of like an Alice character, right? Like who the fuck is Alice in the games? And then they threw in
Yeah.
Jade, right? These two heroines that are super strong and they're gifted for some reason.
I have to say,
Um,
like, one thing I will respect about this franchise is like it's like how they're talking about like a Wesker's like motif is like self-preservation, right? So I feel like this
mm,
franchise, no matter how many fucking like shitty prequels, sequels, spin-offs they do, this series always keeps coming back, and it's like they always like I don't know, find like new stories to tell. So that's one thing
mm.
I will give credit to, but I don't know. And then people were also complaining about like they felt like this show was like too woke. I don't know like what your thoughts were on that because like
I
it felt way
I don't
too
know.
modern, and that's what I hate about shows sometimes, especially Netflix shows. Like they try so hard to make like 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 modern like present day like integrated in the story sometimes, and it just comes off so cringe for me. But how did you feel about it?
Yeah, I don't know. I remember the first cast photo they shown, and I remember like everybody like putting laughing emojis and stuff like that. And so sometimes, like, yeah, like there's like this notion in the media now that they try they have inclusion, but the way they do it is like they're thinking about being inclusive rather than it's just a natural thing. Like this guy would be great to be Albert Wesker. No, they just want to change him. But when I saw that Lance Reddick was cast as Albert Wesker, and I saw the rest of the cast, I was actually really excited. And I think it was funny because people didn't know that they were like playing their past selves. Like there was like the past and then there was also the future, but everybody thought, oh look, a mixed
Mm-hmm.
cast. There's no like white guy in there or something like that. So I find it funny now that the show was released, and I actually really liked it a lot. I think on the contrary, I don't know, like yeah, the modern things are kind of annoying. But for the most part, if you want to call it woke, I don't really know what will be woke about it. Again, there's like this ideology thing going on between Jade and Billy, but that's not really like pushing a narrative of like our
Honestly,
political
the only thing
climate at
like
the moment.
woke I could think of was like with the first episode when Jada's like, "Oh, look, there's only like there's like no black people in the school or whatever." That's like the only thing I could like think of like that might be like
Oh,
woke. But the rest of the show, I think for the most part, didn't have that vibe. I think they were just like normal teenagers. Honestly, that's just how life is. Except obviously for the umbrella
yeah,
shit, but but I don't know.
yeah,
I think people are too
yeah.
nitpicky sometimes too.
Yeah, no, completely. Yeah, I think the curse of I we were talking earlier before recording, and I said the great thing about zombies is that you could spin it any way you want, and it'll really live forever. Sometimes it's like the same thing each time, but the stories are for the most part different, and if you do the zombies differently as
Mhm.
well. Like Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. Say what you will about that movie, 68% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it was different and it includes aliens and
Mhm.
stuff. And so this one, obviously, Resident Evil, still different mutations, but it keeps it fresh. Like there's something about adding to the fact that there's like thousands of zombies running towards you, and then there's a huge caterpillar or spider
Mhm.
also at the same time.
That's one thing I've appreciated
It's
about it.
purely stuff of
Yeah, that's one thing I
nightmares.
appreciate about Resident Evil. It's not just zombies. It's kind of like these other monsters too. I don't know how you felt about like some of the monsters. I feel like some of them. I felt like actually like a lot of the monsters just kind of felt like lackluster. I think maybe the lickers or the clickers, whatever the fuck they called them in the show. I think like they were the most terrifying. But as far as like the other monsters, like I feel like the zombies were just kind of like there. Like I don't know. I was talking to you about this earlier, but I feel like everything that's been done in the zombie genre has kind of been done, and it doesn't really like shock value me anymore. Like the other monsters, like the giant caterpillar and the spider and the crocodile. I don't know. I feel like there were so many times where they could have just like ate them or killed them, but they just pause. I don't know what was happening with B too, her daughter. So I don't know if she had like a pheromone or something. Um, but yeah,
Mhm.
for the most part, I think the monster just kind of underwhelmed me.
I think the reason why you feel like that about zombie things is because it depends on the genre. Like if it's over stylized like Resident Evil, you'll be like terrified by the way they look, but you'll know that the main character will get away, and you'll know like the person who like she picked up along the way will probably die.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like something to expect. But I think on the line of gritty realism, for example, like 28 Days and stuff like that, I think that's when you'll be a little bit more terrified. I like zombie movies because you're basically the villain in the movie. At any moment, you can be. And so I like when you have like a heavy influence of gritty realism, because then you think of your family and you think of like, how can you get your loved ones that maybe are sick out of the situation? I think with Resident Evil, it's the opposite because you don't really think that because shit has already gone bad, and besides that, everyone has like advanced weaponry, like those drones had like billions of bullets for some
Billion.
reason,
I
like
was
it
like,
didn't run
damn.
out
It's like
whatsoever.
she must have activated like unlimited ammo or
Right.
some shit because like
Yeah, yeah,
she
yeah,
thought
she
she was
picked it
so
up in
cool
Call
with
of
her
Duty
iPad
Zombies.
too. Just it was so funny.
I know.
Like there's like
That was the woke
yeah,
part.
really like there's like comedic moments in this show too. But I was confused too because like they hinted to like there was like a queen like zombie, like apparently she could control like the other zombies with like her pheromones, and it was only like they built that little story up, and then they just kind of like didn't go anywhere with it. Like I thought like Billy was gonna maybe have that maybe that gene where like she controls the zombies or something, or like you said, like she may becomes like this Alice character. Maybe she has like powers and shit. But I was kind of confused on that part.
Well, it's the antidote. No, that's actually really important because so they could basically like you can't get rid of the T virus, but you can live with it. So that was the whole
Mhm.
point where like to push them out of the way. So they could probably build a society and put walls, right? And so now it's kind of like the umbrella like city that we've seen or the town. The queen is just a genetic mutation. There's probably different ones around the environment that Jade just didn't see. So that's how they got away from the crocodile or the other zeros was because of that
Mhm.
pheromone. I guess she sprayed the daughter, and I guess it lasts for a long time because she sprayed the daughter. Didn't she spray the? Well, probably yeah. She probably just sprayed the daughter at some moment or whatever, and that's how the daughter wasn't affected, and also Jade wasn't affected because she sprayed herself, and then shit started to go down.
Mhm.
And then also the other antidote was to bring them in. So it's like to push away, bring them in. So basically, what the
Mhm.
queen does. I don't really know the zombies in the games are like blind or they just go through smell. I don't really know if that's like
I don't think they really go
deep
into
in the
detail in
lore or
the
not.
games. It's
So,
just kind of like a thing that maybe the show did, just like as an explanation.
but it was interesting. Yeah, I think it worked because you have there you go. You have your way like to live with the T virus. So there's like a silver
Mhm.
lining. And I think that that's cool that they introduced that if they did. But anyways, how about you give us your thoughts about your final thoughts about the show?
Overall, like it's I don't really have a strong opinion on it. Like I don't know, it was kind of just like an entertainment. It's just like another thing, like for me, just like to watch, like horror. Like the horror genre is either hit or miss for me, and like I would say this is more of a miss, but I don't know. Some people will hate it, some people will like it. For me, for the most part, it was just a thing that I just watched, and I'm just like, okay, well, it's just like another addition to the franchise. But I can't see this series getting a second season. I feel like it's gonna conjure up too much like criticism for it to
Hmm.
greenlight a second season. Um, I was just I was confused on like a little parts. Like some moments were just kind of like too cringy for me. Fucking the dude who played what was it, his name, Baxter, the guy who looked like Jack Black. I thought he
Hmm.
was like the best character in this whole show. When he
He was so annoying.
when
I hated
yeah,
some
the
of his
first he was
sayings.
annoying at first, but then when he went like ape shit, he was like a fucking
That was cool.
the dude from the Kingsman when he went off with the AK and
Right.
shit. I was like, damn,
That was
that was my
cool.
favorite
Yeah, that
part of
was
the whole
cool.
thing. And I was confused too because like the ending was kind of like confusing. Like we didn't see who that character in the tank was. It's alluded that that might be Evelyn's dad, James Marcus, the
Hmm.
original founder of Umbrella.
Hmm.
I thought that was Tyrant actually, because when they showed like the hand, I thought that was maybe Tyrant, but they only like teased him for like a little bit, and then we just didn't see him again until the end. Um, and also I was surprised like why, like because they said uh that Albert died. Well, he sacrificed himself at the end, and then when Jade's like grown up, like Billy said, like he died like he died like recently. So I was kind of confused on that. I was like, well, didn't he die like
Mm,
a long time ago? So
right.
little things I don't know if it's like maybe the writing or just like I don't know, it's a plot hole. But as far as a rating, I'd probably get this 7 out of 10. How would you rate it, or what's your thoughts on
Oh
it?
yeah. Yeah, I would agree. 7 out of 10. It was okay. I think that it got most of the hate just because it's Resident Evil. I think if it wasn't, I think you give it a chance and it might become something that a lot of people will follow in the future. It's definitely new. Just change some designs of like the horrendously like mutated creatures, and then that's it. It's just a different type of show. Um, yeah, I didn't mind it that much. It blended kind of like different genres. Did it work? Sometimes it didn't. I think it was just a mixed bag. I didn't mind the show whatsoever. I think it was an easy watch for me, honestly. I really I didn't mind it. It was just another show, right? That was a zombie show. I think that probably it will be canceled. Unfortunately for me, because I do want to see things be resolved with Jade and Billy, and then Billy took Jade's daughter into the helicopter. And so, what's going on with that? Will Jade return to the ship? Will she recover? How will she recover? And also, in the past, apparently they're gonna go to Japan to see Ada Wong. So that's another character that's really cool to see. Is the OG Wesker actually dead? I mean, in the games, he died in a volcano,
Mm.
and they also made reference to that. So probably we'll know, or we will never know. I don't know. If you guys made it to end, we really appreciate you. And also, again, thank you so much for the love and all the beautiful comments that you guys made. I really appreciate it. It is hard making this content for you, and hopefully, we're gonna start ramping up our schedule. We're going to produce a lot more different and unique videos as
Mhm.
well. We got some new playlists coming along that I think you guys will like a lot. So we're currently going to review Miss Marvel, The Boys, and let's talk about The Boys, something new that we're going to do where we talk about the series season 3 in general. And also Thor Love and Thunder. I can't wait to talk about that. I think Dylan and I have good thoughts on that. So Dylan, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate everybody like sticking with us during our break. It really means a lot that you guys care so much, and for also supporting our other videos as well. We're expanding as a podcast every day, so we now have a Facebook page. If you want to check it out, we can add links in the description. Check out our TikTok where we post clips. Also our Instagram where we update everything. And yeah, we're also trying to expand to different platforms such as Overcast, Radio Public, different platforms. But definitely, you can check it out on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, as well as our YouTube channel. So please check those out and share with your friends if you can. Yeah, we have a lot of great playlists out already, and we have a lot of great content ideas coming out before the end of July. So I think you guys will really find it interesting. But thank you so much, and until then, thank you for having lunch with us.
See you guys.